Hey Signal Trekkers, thank you so much for tuning back in. It's great to see y'all. I want to talk to you today about a piece of equipment that I was very fortunate enough to use while I was in the United States Army called the Duke. This piece of equipment saved my life and the lives of countless other service members who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. When those two wars began, there was a very big threat of remotely controlled improvised explosive devices. As you can imagine, something like that would cause absolute chaos for a U.S. military convoy who is trying to accomplish its mission in either Iraq or Afghanistan. The U.S. military quickly adapted to this threat and developed this particular device right here called, again, it's called the Duke. And certain soldiers were picked to go through specialized training, and I was one of them. I quickly volunteered for this course. It was basically an electronic countermeasures course for soldiers that were going to be doing convoys in Iraq and Afghanistan. It was a course designed to teach you how to use this piece of equipment, how to check for faults, make sure it was working okay before you went outside the wire, so to speak. And what this device did, without divulging too many details about it, it overwhelmed the RF environment. So if someone was trying to set off a improvised explosive device using a remotely controlled device, it would essentially block that signal from getting to its intended destination. And it did so by not setting these actual devices off. And it also did so by not interfering with the radios that were inside of the military vehicles. Very cool, very secretive technology on how that all works. As you know, the military uses what's called frequency hopping spread spectrum. And the military would commonly do updates with what's called a key to your military radio. That, in conjunction with the specialized technology that was inside of the Duke, allowed you to continue to use your military radios while you had this device active. And again, this device saved my life a few times that I was able to verify. A few times we actually had to stop our convoy because we were able to see devices from a distance. Not gonna lie to you, a lot of times these explosive devices were not placed inside of their intended containers or dug in the road very well because they didn't have a lot of time to put these devices in. They basically would hurry out to the road, try to dig a hole in the road and bury the device, cover it back up and make it look like nothing in the road had been disturbed. So U.S. Army, U.S. Marines, all of us were basically trained when you were going down the road in a convoy to look for disturbances in the road. I mean, not very easy to spot, mind you. So your eyes really sort of came accustomed to what fresh dirt would look like. You know, obvious things like wires sticking out of the ground. That's an obvious giveaway right there. So we went through specialized training on how to look for these things, and as well, what I'm talking about here today, the Duke. A lot of the convoy leaders had to go through this specialized training, so if you did have something go wrong with this device, no one in the Army actually worked on these. You actually had a specialized contractor that would fly to your base and fix the device for you. There wasn't a single military person that was qualified to work on these things. So if one of them went down, it actually deadlined your vehicle. You couldn't use it. You could not roll outside the gate if your Duke system went down. And if you were rolling outside the gate and your system went down while you were outside the gate, you sort of had to rearrange your vehicles so that the bubbles that were still there from the vehicles that had working systems would sort of cover the vehicle that had the malfunctioning system. It was really cool how it worked, because this bubble was, again, I'm not going to get into specifics, it was pretty big. As you can imagine, it needed to be to, block any sort of threats that were coming up near our convoy. I'm very thankful for this piece of technology, and I know a lot of folks don't even know about it. I know it's still used to this day. different variants of it. It's actually gotten more advanced and better. So I am super thankful for the RF engineers who created this device and saved the lives of, again, countless U.S. service members. Just wanted to share the little bit about this piece of technology that I was so fortunate to use in the U.S. military, and teach you a little bit more about how I basically got into RF. Again, that was my first foray into the world of RF, and as soon as I got out of the military, I got licensed as soon as I could. Kind of ironic how that worked out, isn't it? All right, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Signal Trek. Until next time, I'll say 7-3.